His passion is for working with young people, encouraging them to achieve their very best in education, avoid the dangers of drugs and alcohol, and to thrive and succeed in their personal lives. Dr. Jones is a longtime resident of Manteca, raising a family and building a full and meaningful life for his children in our family city. He continues to volunteer his time with his wife, Debbie, at Shasta Elementary School, just blocks from his family home. There are so many aspects of our community that Dr. Jones has had a positive influence on throughout his life. However, his unending advocacy for access to quality education, literacy programs, and technological advances that make him a natural choice to be inducted into the Manteca Hall of Fame in the area of education. Please welcome Bill Jones.
Yeah!
I have some notes. I'm going to use them because, unfortunately, I'm afraid I'll forget something if I don't. But Dr. Jones is gone, so take 2 aspirins and call me in the morning. Basically, I'm Bill's. Wow, is that how I got so old so fast? First of all, I'd like to thank Evelyn Moore for her nomination. You know, Evelyn is one of those kinds of people that have done everything in Manteca. And particularly, she's, and as a board member, to nominate me for this honor is particularly important to me. And I really appreciate Evelyn for the work that you've done. I first met Evelyn when she was active in the Teacher Association, and later on I recommended her to Anton Ramus to be on our board of first board of the Give Every Child a Chance. And when we actually started tutoring teachers, she was there every week, and she volunteers hundreds of hours, and she's still there at Give Every Child a Chance. And so she should really be standing up here instead of me. She's one of these very, very hard-working individuals that's probably part of everything in this community. I also want to thank Shim Lacey, who also helped in my nomination. Shim was my administrative assistant when we first started up Give Every Child a Chance. And I met Shim when she was a GATE student. That's Gifted and Talented Education at Manteca High School. And then when she became my administrative assistant, she's the person who took all those jumbled notes that I wrote and transferred them into something that people could understand and we could actually move ahead. She's still giving her gifted and talented talents to this community, and that's why she was nominated and selected as the best of Manteca, a volunteer in terms of this community. And I really appreciate Shim's work. I'd like to thank the Boys and Girls Club Committee for giving me this recognition, and all those people who were part of the activities that I'm being recognized for tonight. Last but not certainly least, my wife of 39 years, Debbie. I like her participation in all of my activities. That's been really important, and it's kept us going, kept us together as a family. And I want to introduce my daughter, Jamie, and son-in-law Mario, grandchildren Alicia, Dominic, and Brianna, and my grandson Anthony. Jamie was just 1 month old when we first moved to Manteca from Southern California. We left all of our family support system in Southern California, so Deb was up here with a baby all by herself and developing new friends, and it took a while for us to adjust to the change in cultures. I'm grateful that Mario and Jamie live in Manteca now, even though they have to commute to the Bay Area for work. I have several other friends here. It's nice to see Joe Jacobs, a former teacher and friend of mine. If it wasn't for Joe and his dad to help me find my first home here in Manteca, we probably would still be jumping around to different places looking for a place to live, and I really appreciate that. We've been friends for a long time. He used to be my neighbor, and I appreciate that. I also saw Earl Pimentel here, who's a former teacher with me, and certainly Ed Kittner. And Kathy Artman's being recognized tonight, and she also worked with us at Manteca High School, and I think that's great that you're here, Kathy, because you were a great contributor to the community. There are some stories my wife said I could tell tonight, so I'm going to just briefly go through a couple of them. I want to publicly thank Jack Kelly and John Harris, who's here tonight, and Don Whitmer's dad, who was on the board when they decided to take a chance on me and bring me up from Southern California. Even though I had no high school experience, they brought me up to Manteca High School as an assistant principal. I came from a junior high school in East Los Angeles, where I'd been principal for 11 years. I need probably not to tell you that the culture was a little bit different than the junior high school in East LA. I went to school with a can of mace and a set of handcuffs, and I had a 12-foot piece of carpet in my office that we used if we had to roll kids up that got dusted. It was angel's dust. I mean, when the PCP was very popular, Seconal was the second choice of drugs for kids in the junior high school level, and it was a pretty active community. 98% of the kids in that school were gang members, and we had a little bit of time, and I found out later on that they really didn't hire me because of my degree from USC. They hired me for one reason. That was my experience in the Marine Corps. They didn't really need an administrator. They need somebody to straighten out a couple of problems that they had there. And they wanted me to stop fighting. So the first thing I did was, you probably, most of you probably don't remember that in the old days we used to have policies, and in Rosemead they had a policy that you could give kids squats. So they wanted me to stop fighting. So I'm sorry if there's anybody from the ACO here. Basically, after about 5 months, I started getting, every 2 weeks I had to go to the orthopedic doctor and get shots on my elbow because I had tennis elbow from trying to straighten out some of those things that they said were the biggest problems they wanted to settle. So I have to thank Jack and John and Don Whitmer's dad for bringing me up to Manteca. It's made a big difference in my life, obviously. And I want to go on further and tell you about what the teachers at Manteca, some of them are here again tonight, identified the first staff meeting, and my mentor, Dr. Ed Brazemer, a wonderful man, who also was instrumental in me coming up here to Manteca. Ed was a kind of person that you just had to really like. He's just a really great gentleman. And he had the greatest respect for kids, and kids had the greatest respect for him. And I tried to emulate that in my career here at Manteca High School. But he gave me the job, the first job he gave me was to be in charge of the discipline at Manteca High School. So we went to our first staff meeting, and I asked the staff if they would identify some of the major discipline problems they had at school. And the list they developed was, first of all, there was a lot of noisy traffic in the center hallway. And some kids were not tucking their shirts in like they should have. And then the third thing they identified, well, I don't know what my notes are, but I won't care. The third thing they identified was that there was a lot of kids cutting class. But the number one problem they had was there was an over-display of affection. And they really wanted me to do something about this over-display of affection. Well, it's hard to describe the cultural shock I was in at that time. But I knew that God had brought me to a place where I really wanted to live and raise my family. And we have lived here for the last 32 years. And we love this community. Most of the people that I passed by tonight, I've seen and known in my life through all these different experiences. And it's something that's made my life complete. And I very, very much appreciate the recognition that you're giving me tonight. Thank you very much.